going to be sharing with you another of my favourite tools, and it is the universal work holder, also known as a peg clamp. So whenever I share photographs of this particular tool on social media, people always ask what exactly is it and what does it do? So today I'm going to be answering those questions. Okay, so as I said there in the intro, this can be known as a universal work holder or a peg clamp, and indeed it says peg clamp on top of the box, but I'm going to be referring to it as a work holder, as I think that makes more sense. So your work holder will come in this box, and then inside you have the actual tool, and then you have a little bag of spare pegs. So the work holder itself has a nice shaped handle, which is really comfortable to hold. And then at the top here, you have these holes where you actually slot the pegs. And I'll show you how to use it in a moment, but it also comes with this ring around the pegs that are already in there. And that's just to hold them in place and actually to hold the two sections together. So I'm going to remove that and take those pegs out. So you have 8 pegs altogether, which I always find is plenty for anything I've sort of slotted in here. And then you've got this handle on the side, which opens the jaws there. And they open up quite wide, so that's as wide as it will go. And then the idea is that you place your piece of work on there, so either a piece of furniture or a miniature, and then you hold it into place by positioning the pegs into the relevant holes. So you can sort of slot it in, and then you can adjust to tighten it up so that you've got a really firm hold on the piece that you're working on. So I'm going to demonstrate today with some miniatures and pieces of furniture, just to show you how easy it is to use and how it makes life so much easier when you're actually applying paint, stain or varnish to your pieces. So I'm going to start off with these metal miniatures, and these are pieces that you would typically apply detail to once you've applied the initial coat of paint. So I'll start off with the little jug, and I'm going to leave the pegs as they are for now. So loosen the jaws wide enough so you can just get that to sit in there. You don't want it to fall through into the centre, like that. So tighten that up and then just give it a bit of a wiggle and make sure it's sitting nice and tightly in there, and then you're free to work on it. You can turn it around in your hand so you can get to all of the areas, and that's why I actually prefer this to just attaching it to a piece of masking tape on a painting sheet, because this is so much easier to go around like that and apply all of the little details in all areas. So I'll take that out of there. Oops. And then we'll have a go with the bread bin, and this I'm going to attach slightly differently. So the pins will actually sit on the inside of the bread bin, so you can actually just put the bread bin over the top like that, and you can move them out a little bit wider beforehand if you like, and then open the jaws until you feel the pegs pull in at the sides of the bread bin. Make sure that's secured nice and tightly on there, and then you would turn it around like that, do your lettering, and then you can turn it around, do the lettering on the other side. You can also get to the handles there as well, and then like I said earlier, you can just pop that to one side and leave that to dry, so you haven't got to sort of risk touching your paint as you sort of place that somewhere to dry. So the holder can also hold pieces of furniture, and I've got here this little shelf unit that I've been meaning to paint for quite a while. I want to add some cream paint and then sand that back just to reveal some of this darker wood beneath to make that look like a sort of aged vintage piece of furniture. So put the pins to the outside of the holder and then open it up. Like that, and that's as far as it will open. I'm then going to slot that in there like that, tighten it, and I can then get into all of the shelves. I can do the top and bottom as well, and then once that had dried, and again I would prop that up and leave that to dry, I would take that out, so open it up again, and then I'm just going to close it up a little bit, until I can get the pegs inside one of the shelves there. Just close it up a little bit more. I keep trying to remember that towards me is tighten, towards the window is loosen. So slot that on there and then again widen the jaws until I can feel it tighten up. Make sure that's secure and then I can paint the sides and the back. And that's the whole piece then painted. And by doing it like this, you don't get any paint or varnish or whatever you're using for the finish on your hands. And then of course you can prop that up to dry so you don't get any marks on the piece of furniture. And I haven't actually got anything here to prop it into, but if I was propping something like that to dry that was larger than the actual holder, then I would put the handle into some sort of pot or a glass jar, and then that can be left to dry like that. It's also really good for smaller things like drawers, and you can also use it to secure the drawer whilst you attach the handles. It can also be used for slightly larger pieces of furniture. I like to use plaited cord around the top of my wicker style baskets, and because the work holder is a really good weight, it works as a helping pair of hands and will hold on to the end of the plait for you. So once you've finished using your work holder, always be sure just to give it a quick wipe over using a cleaner suitable to the product that you've been using. So that really is just a small taster of what the work holder can be used for, but I'm sure that's given you an idea of how useful it can be. Now if you would like to add one of these to your miniaturist's toolbox, they're for sale in my Etsy shop. And I'll pop the link to the shop in the description box below. So I really hope you've enjoyed the demonstration of the universal work holder. That's it for today, and I'll see you again soon. Take care. Bye.